Yo. Welcome back to another edition of the Men Who Cry podcast. Thank you guys again for listening. On this episode, we will be talking about the MLB Whip-around, Juan Soto's MVP case, are the Phillies on their last stand, and what's wrong with the Yankees. I'm here, but it's not just me. I'm back with one of my favorite white guys. He's in the top five. I will not say exactly where in the top five he is, but he's in the top five. Lane Riordan is here, back talking to me about the MLB. Lane, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm always doing good. I feel like I'm right behind Tyler Kolek, right? It's like,
So here's the thing.
yeah.
Real talk. I'm in a Knicks group chat. One of the Knicks content creators has like a group chat where people can just talk all the time. And so I'll jump in and jump out because I was in heavier earlier, but honestly, like my life's just busy. I'm trying to do this. I have work, and it gets kind of crazy. So I'm not in all the time. When I tell you some of my most heated arguments was about Tyler Kolek,
No.
on the listen, I get it, fan favorite for a lot of different reasons. It was annoying the hell out of me because people were literally saying, I'm not kidding you, Lane, not this past season, the season before.
Yeah.
It was, I think the Knicks were like, there was some stretch where they weren't playing well or something like that. And when I tell you people were like, we need to focus on Tyler Kolek's development, that was said. When I tell you I was snapping at people, I was like, again, I understand. He is the embodiment of what you wish your hoop dreams could be. But
totally.
He's not that good. It was like getting me hot, bro. Like,
yeah.
I would say, because thank you to everyone who's repost and liked and talked about the Jaylen Brown thing I had. That's probably the most watched video I had. It's not that much, but I appreciate it. It's more than I ever had before. That passion I had about Jaylen Brown doesn't compare to how furious I was when people talk about Tyler Kolek. Like, legitimately, I was about to get involved in a race war, bro. Like, I was getting that mad. It was nuts. I couldn't believe that was the things people were saying, that we need to, again, that team went to the conference finals and they were saying, screw this. We need to develop Tyler Kolek.
These are the type of opportunities that mid-ass white guys need. We need to further the development of their mediocre bench NBA careers because there's just not enough of them.
You know who one of my favorite Knicks of all times is, Lane? Dante DiVincenzo. I love that guy. Okay, I care if you could hoop. He's not that good. Yeah. And that was the thing that was going to be more mad. Okay, it was like, I'm old enough to remember. Do you remember Frank Ntilikina?
Yeah, of course. He was gonna be the truth. It was Frank's team.
I was deep into Frank Hive, bro. Like, I'm telling you, like, I started to lose vision how deep in the hole I was on Frank Ntilikina. And like, I had a buddy, he's still one of my best friends to this day, was always like, yo, that dude is trash, right? And I was like, nah, they just need to get him time. You need to get him time. I was obviously wrong, right? But the team stunk. So at least there was like a justification for him to play. It was like, all right, the team's bad. We might as well like see, can this guy play? Like, get him minutes, right? The team went to the conference finals and won the championship. And I have to hear idiots tell me that we need to talk about Tyler Kolek's fucking development. Oh my God. Like, I'm getting more mad again about this shit. It was
I got you hot from the beginning.
Got me hot again, man. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh man. Shout out to him, bro. I hope you have a long 10-year career. But they were talking about this man like he was the number one pick in the draft. And I was just getting mad. I'm telling you, bro, there's something about that white skin that just gets people going, especially in basketball. It just gets the people going. Anyway, I don't want people to call me a racist anymore. Here to talk about a very white sport, baseball. We will be talking about what's happening in MLB. We are going to start in the American League, where I'm pretty sure everyone sucks. Like, everyone I think is bad. So outside of the Tampa Bay Rays and the New York Yankees, everyone essentially is 500 or worse, right? That's 13 teams. I've never seen this before. I don't think I've like. Are we really going to have a team be under 500 make the playoffs? I think that's going to happen. Or let me not say it's going to happen, but it seems very likely to happen since we need to fill up the spots. So, like, if you have any idea to think why exactly is the AL as a whole just so bad this year?
Well, I have two ideas. So one of the problems with the AL in the last like decade or so is that the AL Central has just been asked. Like just unequivocally has just been a bad division for about 7 years, 8 years. Sometimes the Guardians are good. Sometimes the Twins pretend to be good and then get knocked out in the fucking like wild card round. And now we've got the White Sox, who that team has some juice. Obviously, Murakami's been a really fun story throughout the year,
Shout out to
but
him, man. Everyone missed on
they
that
are
guy.
not a Absolutely. But they are not a good baseball team. Like that team has so many holes across its lineup, so many holes to its pitching staff. Like that they're 47 and 42 or 41 or something. They should not even be close to winning that division. So having one entire division that is pretty weak is helpful to create a less good entire league. Secondly, there have been teams that we've been talking about like popping off for years now. We've had the Orioles are supposed to be good. The Red Sox are supposed to be good. This Mariners regression. It's all of these teams that we thought were going to be a lot stronger, taking another year off or taking a year off. It leads to creating a general level of parity across the division that is just, I don't know, a bit worrying. I don't know. I feel a little stressed about watching some really terrible October baseball in this AL.
And that's the thing too, because we are going to get closer to the trade deadline. Obviously, trade deadline I believe is the 1st of August this year. It might be.
I
It's
think so.
either end of July, 1st of August, one of those two. And we're gonna have zero sellers in the AL. I mean, even Baltimore that you just mentioned, they're 43 and 51. They're not out of it. Like I believe right now, I'm dead ass. They are not out of it. The current third wild card right now is the Guardians or Guardians / White Sox. But essentially, it's like I guess whoever doesn't win that division. But essentially, we were looking at a team with 47 wins. Like the Orioles are only 4 games back in the loss column, and they're last in the division in the AL East. The only teams that you can say right now are probably out of it are the Royals with 56 losses and the Angels with 57 losses. Everyone else has 52 or less. And everyone's so bunched up. I've never seen it come like this where all these teams are kind of just mid. And the thing that you talked about, you touched on the White Sox. They were the worst team like historically last year. And now they actually might win the division, which again, baseball for you. I want to dive deeper into like some specific teams that we just want to see like why some of the good teams that we actually have. And I want to start off with the Rays. The Rays right now, the best record in the AL East and the best record in the American League. They're a 4-game lead on the Yankees. They're 54 and 37. And I feel like we are having another one of those Rays years. What I mean by that is ever since the Rays really popped up on the scene, well, they've been on for a while since 99, but since they went to one World Series, they've always do this where it's like they suck. Oh, they've won 97 games. They suck. They won 94 games. They make the playoffs. And now it pretty much feels like it's between them and the Yankees. I don't think they're going to fall off enough for the Yankees to catch them. And we'll get to the Yankees in a bit. But I'm curious because we have Junior Caminero, who I could not pronounce my man's name the last time we did this podcast, but I got it now because we're going to talk about MVPs in a bit. He's having an outstanding season. I'm going to read off his stat line for you in a little bit. But this guy has been one of the best players in baseball since last season. He's on track to hit about another 45 bombs again this year. He is, as I actually filibuster to get his stats up. There we go. I had it. He's third rather, in the AL in 27 home runs. He's behind Riordan Alvarez and Ben Rice, who we'll talk about a little bit with the Yankees. He's fourth in OPS in the AL. Actually, overall, behind Alvarez, Juan Soto, and Ben Rice. He's batting .277, which in today's league is outstanding. And he has 57 runs batted in. He has 304 hits in his career. He has 79 home runs in his career. And I feel like this is almost a guy that, how should I put it? He's from the Dominican Republic. So anyone from the Dominican Republic, you just have to assume was going to pop. Like the World Baseball Classic, at least for me, was the first time I really got to see this guy play for an extended period of time. And I know you felt, to me, he felt like their best player. A team that had Tatis, Juan Soto, he felt like he was their guy. And he's able to now transition that into the Rays team that, again, is leading the AL in wins. So if you want to talk a little bit about the Rays in general of how they're doing, or just how good Caminero has been for the Rays this year.
I mean, yeah, Caminero is a really special player. He's 22, 23 right now. He's blossoming before our eyes. This is clearly his like true breakout season, although we saw him, yeah, as you said, through the end of last season and into the World Baseball Classic showed like that he is here for real. This sustained, he had the 11 game home run streak, right? That's one of the coolest baseball stats we've had in years. Like that's an incredible feat in its own right. He has an electricity. Obviously, he's one of those players where every time he comes up to the plate, you're like, well, anything could happen. This guy can do anything. But the Rays team is deep, and like I think he's getting a lot of the shine because we love to talk about young superstars in any sports league, but we need more of them in baseball, so they get especially highlighted there. But Yandy Diaz, the man is 35, 34. He's
still going.
Also, to such a degree.
Not to cut you off, the Rays' best player was kicked off the team because allegedly he assaulted someone. And when I say someone, I mean a child. So just for context of the fact that they're still doing this, and allegedly their guy that was supposed to be their best player is never going to play baseball ever again, at least American baseball.
It's crazy. But yeah, Yandy's leading the team in hits. He's got, he's still a doubles guy. He's going to hit in, probably between 25 and 30 home runs this year. He's going to be up there in RBIs. He's just so like classic Yandy. They've also got like their first baseman, Arenado, who's raking. Like it's a team effort. And the thing with the Rays is that like it's always like the Rays pitching staffs are always good. Like they're able to create pitchers from nothing to a degree that no other ball club is able to do in baseball. So when a Rays team is good, it's like, oh, they figured out their hitting this year because their pitching is they're gonna figure that out every single year. So
and they don't have to pay any of their guys yet. That's always when you know the Rays team is good. They don't have to pay their players as of yet. Caminero. What colors do you think he likes? Do you think he likes Mets blue and orange? You like Yankees pinstripes, Dodgers blue? Like there's a lot of different ways he can go in like 4 years.
You have like 3 options. It's awesome.
Listen, it's good for him, But the Red Sox not spending no money, so it's not like he's going there.
No. The bag is arriving.
Yes. And I think this is the beauty of baseball. And inevitably, anytime we talk about baseball, we do have to unfortunately, the cap always gets involved. But this is why the Rays will always operate and owners will always do the way that they want to do it, is because look at that team. They're beating the Yankees and leading their division right now. And the Yankees payroll is $100 million more over? Like, is the Rays even paying $100 million in payroll? I'm gonna look this up. I don't think so. If I had to guess, right now, the Rays payroll is 145. Nope, that was much closer with 100. It is $98 million for this season during opening day.
That's incredible.
I think that's how much Juan Soto is getting paid right now. But the point about it is they're able to do this all the time without ever having to spend money on the team. I'm not saying that they won't spend money. I don't know what they're going to do at the trade deadline. I would figure that they're going to try and add to this team. But I think the biggest thing that we always talk about is the Rays have done this before. The Rays have made the playoffs a bunch of times. Like we said before, the Rays have made the World Series in their history and never won a championship. In a league that looks this poor, and I mean, I don't see any reason why the Rays can't believe that they can't get to the World Series. Do you give them a legitimate chance to actually get to the World Series this year?
100%. The Rays feel like one of the real teams in baseball. One of the teams that it's like, okay, I could see also how they're going to play playoff baseball, which is, so important when you're trying to visualize. So like taking a little step back, looking at some of the other hot teams right now, we have like the Cubs are extremely hot. The Dodgers are always hot in the NL. The Phillies have been on a tear. Can't wait to get into that. Can't wait. But let's take the Cubs. Goes near and dear to my heart. Their streakiness is not the type of team that you look at for fall baseball as being something that can be sustainable. So they're a team built on streaks, which can obviously work when it comes to October, where you just get hot at the right time. We saw this a couple of years ago with the Diamondbacks making that run to the World Series before eventually losing to the Rangers. But it doesn't normally mean you're going to be a consistently successful team. And one thing that the Rays are doing is a sort of like sustained excellence. Their streaks are like they have win streaks, but it's not the type of thing where they're rattling off 10 games in a row and then losing 10 games in a row. And there's a consistency in their hitting across the board where almost everyone on their team walks at a rate that is like a reasonable success rate that you're looking for, as well as like minimizing strikeouts. Their only big strikeout guy is really Arenado. And every team's got to have one of them. So it's just they're playing with a type of game, a type of style that is going to translate exceedingly well. When we get to the playoffs and they're most likely going up against the Yankees, that's going to be a really good toss-up of a series. Trying to pick it right now is impossible, and most likely will just come down to pitching health. Do you feel like there is another team that you're even that worried about outside of those two in the playoffs?
Just in the American League?
Yeah.
I think there's enough time. And that's the one thing I would say about baseball is one of the beautiful things about you always have time. And another thing I always feel about baseball is when we get to this part of the season where we're getting so close to the All-Star break, this is kind of the time where you want the teams to kind of like start like forming. And then I would say you want your teams to kind of start playing much better. End of April, you've got to play well in September, and that's how you get it going. So I don't think we're going to know right now, outside of who we just mentioned before, the Yankees, the Rays, who else is going to be there. But I still think that there are plenty of teams to get it done. Like your team that you picked to win the AL earlier this year, the Mariners. Like I still love their pitching. I don't know what's wrong with their team. I mean, right now they have a run differential of plus 20. That's pretty good. They're 5-5. They're 47 as of recording of this taping. They're 7-7. Sorry, they're 47-47. They're only a half game back of the Rangers, so it's not like they can't win their division. And I still think that the Mariners, even though they did lose with home field advantage, they had a home field against the Blue Jays, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. And unfortunately, they did lose that series. But no, I'm lying. Because that went 7
Oh,
games,
wait.
right?
Yeah, that went 7. And it was the last game was in Toronto.
Yeah, the last game was in Toronto. But the point is that playing in Seattle is not easy. And so I still think that they have a chance to be really good. It'll be interesting to see. I didn't mention this in the stat, but we did mention what was going to happen to Skubal if the Tigers start to fall off, and it seems more likely that he's going to get traded. The Mariners don't see him a team that needs him since they have so many great pitchers and they have a lot of guys who they basically have a six starters and they're basically using bulk guys at certain points. But when you can pitch, that's always a team that I always worry about come postseason time in terms of staying in games, right? Because all you need is their guys to get hot, right? Naylor's got to get good. Randy Arozareno, is always a postseason guy. He always plays well in the postseason. So you also have Julio Rodriguez. Like, that's still a team. I know that they aren't doing as well because no one else is doing well in the American League. But that's the team I still think has a chance to make a run come postseason time, as well. Even though I do think that unlike you, I do think the Rays are not looking so hot.
I
The
think
Jays, rather, not the Rays, the Jays.
yes. I think that there's some interesting Mariners questions here. So like Julio, paid like a superstar, is never that good in the first half. He's always been a second half guy. So, that builds into what you're talking about and into materializing in September as a playoff ball club. The Cal Raleigh regression is something that almost everyone predicted. They were like, he's not going to be as good, right? The Cal
There's a
Raleigh
reason why I didn't mention him.
falling face first off a cliff into the sea of much worse than mediocrity.
I mean, he didn't make the All-Star team this year, bro.
My guy is hitting 168. He's not. He can't hit the ball. Like it's a ridiculous level of fall off to have your superstar.
His split. Sorry, not even cut you off. He's hitting 168 with 9 home runs, 29 RBIs, and his OPS is 581. This man led the league in home runs last year. Led the league. I mean, we both called it too. We knew he wasn't going to hit this many. We didn't think he was going to have 9.
No way. No way. It's a legendary fall off. I mean, they've talked about him.
That's the type of fall off where people think you're using.
Yeah, totally. It's that's juicing shit.
If we go back, what we talked about, World Baseball Classic, who was not playing so well, and that translated into the season. So
also remember the vibes. Some bad vibes at the WBC between him and Randy.
We was trying to give highs and said, "Nah, I'm not doing that." And it's a whole thing.
The Mariners have talked about how it's a oblique strain, which is obviously what they're going to say. Like, he's been injured. He's had his oblique strain like before. So it's like clearly they're at least, outwardly saying that this is the cause of his troubles. I would say it looks like something a little deeper. It seems like the yips or some kind of mental thing.
And it's always, and the thing that's why baseball is beautiful and terrifying. Beautiful. Baseball really is like a woman. Like, you could just love this person and then all of a sudden they just hate you. And that's what happened. Again, name me another sport where a guy in his prime, he's 29 years old, he'll be 30 later on this year, squarely in his prime, right? Had arguably not just the best season of his career, one of the best seasons a catcher has ever had. You could argue that was the best season a catcher has ever had since like the 30s. Okay. Like, we're talking way back. He didn't get hurt. He didn't get traded. Nothing happened. And he is worse than a replacement player. He's been awful. And you can't explain it except the fact that it's baseball, right? No other sports like this. You're not going to see Patrick Mahomes throw 20 interceptions next season unless he like breaks his leg. Like, that's just not going to happen, right? Steph Curry in his prime, when he won the MVP, didn't go to average 12 points a game. That's basically what we're talking about here. And that's why baseball, to be a baseball Hall of Famer or to be a great player in baseball, is so hard, because it's just, there's literally, consistency is the hardest thing to ever find in this sport. And that's why, to me, is a reason why again, full disclosure, we'll see. The Mariners have, I believe, the only AL team that's never been to the World Series. So I always try to put that in demons. Those things live on. Those are real things. They would be a team I would still be worried about because they have the potential, right? Especially with their pitching. And they had a guy who was finished second in MVP. If he could just turn it around, I think can be a team that will make some noise come October. Because I'm pretty confident they're getting in. Whether it's they win the AL West or they have to get through in a wild card scenario. All right, let's talk about everyone's favorite team, the New York Yankees, who are Just I feel like the Yankees are truly the Rorschach test of sports. Truly, this version of the Yankees team, the last 17 years now, I guess, yeah, last World Series, so 17 years, right? They have made a World Series. They have been to the ALCS countless times. They made the playoffs all but I believe twice or one time they didn't make the playoffs. The year that the first year of Judge, they didn't make it in this stretch. But I believe they've made the playoffs every year since that point. They have a guy who's going to be considered one of the greatest players who ever played the game. He has 3 MVPs. He's not going to win the one this year because of his injury. And yet you talk to a Yankees fan and they're acting as if they're about to lose 100 games this year. And they are, Lane, when I tell you they are done, they're done. They can't take it anymore. And the whole thing I just had about Kyle Raleigh and the Mariners is the reason why I always look back at them and go, you're going to make the playoffs. That's all that matters. However, to give them a little bit of a voice, it does feel like this year it's really starting to fall apart. The injuries are really starting to get them. Judge is hurt. Stan is always hurt. But Cole's been out. Free's been hurt a lot, though, pretty much the whole year. I believe he's not supposed to come back until September. Same thing with Judge. Judge might not be back until September. Ben Rice was having a really good season. He's fallen off a little bit. He's gotten it back the last couple games. He's had a couple home runs against the Rays, I believe. And the whipping boy, Anthony Volpe, somehow is back on the team, but he remains the whipping boy. My question isn't necessarily about this team specifically. I like this current version of the Yankees. I'm asking this more as an existential question of the Yankees. Do you think they've reached the point where they have to fight? They don't win the World Series. They have to make a change just to keep things at bay. Because I frankly don't think there's a justification to fire the general manager. I don't. There's no statistical reason why you should fire him. However, I feel like for them, it's almost morphed into like you're just like you can't even see anything, right? It's like a moment where you just get into a fight with someone, right? Your eyes are just like you're not really seeing anything straight. You just moving your body. And unfortunately, unless you feel like you hit something, you're not going to stop. And I feel like that's the relationship with the Yankee fans and Brian Cashman. They don't want to hear anything. They just want blood. And so that's more or less my question is unless they win the World Series, you think he's should be out of a job?
Sometimes it is just about changing the vibes. This is a slightly different example, but look what the Knicks did. Tom Thibodeau out, Mike Brown in. That's a culture change. That's a vibes change, And
okay, I want to cut off one thing with that. The only reason I disagree with that is because I personally think in basketball we've seen that happen before, right? The Raptors did that. Cleveland did that the year that they came back from 3-1 down. Like that's not as crazy as a stance that I think a lot of people think it is. It's crazy that they fired the coach that won. That got them further for the Knicks standpoint, but the Raptors fired the coach and he won Coach of the Year. David Blatt was fired and they had the best record in the NBA in the Eastern Conference. Like firing a coach that has a good team or a really great team, the stats are always going to be there. It's about what you said. It's like, have we peaked with this guy and have we kind of move on? I'm not saying that they shouldn't move on from Boone. I don't think Yankee fans care one way or the other about that.
We gotta get Boone is a joke.
Like that to me is not a question. I don't think
goofy ass.
But we can have a whole hour conversation about what do managers do, right? Like, I'm not really. It's to me they don't care about that. They want Cashman's head, and to me that's almost like you are changing the foundation of what this team is. And that's the thing that I'm getting at. Like, I would not have fired Leon Rose last year. I think that's ridiculous. And obviously,
Totally.
this guy did what he do. But like,
genius.
Yes, but I'm more or less speaking about Cashman in the sense of they have to get rid of him.
I take your point. I agree. There's more of a historical perspective, especially coming from baseball or basketball, and the structural change that would be needed to get rid of Cashman, or what that would lead to, is super different. Despite that being the case, I still think that with how negative the energy is, without a World Series win, it's a necessity. Even if it's not the right choice, like for the Yankees, it could be completely the wrong choice because they're basically a lock for October. They still have, I think, the second or third best World Series odds. Like,
the second best World Series odds behind the Dodgers. Correct.
Yeah. So it's like, obviously that's a little different too because Yankees fans bet it up. It's like Lakers fans with Lakers odds. It's always a little like inflated because the fans are obsessed. And we are definitely like it's different being a Yankee, it just is different being a Yankee. So the scale in which we have to judge them, based around their own fans, even, it's a greater scale than you're judging other teams. It just simply is. There's too much history. There's too much culture. There's too many years of winning. With the negativity that they're currently at, I think it is a absolute necessity for them to change something, and I think it needs to change on a broader scale, which I guess probably means Cashman. It's also really easy to make the argument that it's not like, especially this season, this team, like, it's not his fault. He put together a good team, a good lineup. Like, that Yankees team the Yankees batting is pretty good. They've put a good 1 through 10, and their pitching has just been inconsistent. But they've also like struck gold. So like,
they have the Cy Young winner.
Literally,
he's gonna win the Cy Young if he keeps playing like this.
Literally,
Cam. I don't want to say his last name. His name sounds like a slur, bro.
It does.
It sounds like a slur.
Yep. It sounds.
It's that crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who was like, again, last name is a little bit funny, but I don't know what lineage that came from. We were like, you know what, buddy, we are going to make it real interesting. He real lucky he white, because like his last name, you could go in two different directions with his name. How you mess it up?
That's how hateful his name is.
Yes,
we can hit multiple groups.
Yes, yeah. Multiple spaces.
Yeah, Cy Young winner. Yeah,
Cy Young winner, Cam.
Yeah, Cam. Yeah. So, I'm being dramatic here, but I think that I'm only responding to the drama that exists in this organization and this fan base. Like, I don't think he's completely shit the bed on putting this team together. Like, obviously he needs to go out and at least try to get them another pitcher at the deadline, which I'm sure he will. But if that move doesn't work, if the pitcher doesn't work out, then yeah, it's probably time.
Yeah, I think that oddly this season, once we get to the NL, we will have my 5-minute rant on the Mets that's coming. You like see his value. Like, just because you have a high payroll doesn't mean you're going to win a lot of games. The Padres for years have had high payrolls and were not winning games. The Mets now, back-to-back years, are going to miss the playoffs. Second highest payroll in the sport. I don't exactly know what the beef is with the team. Because, and this is the reason why I feel as if that this is very ridiculous, is the guy you're bringing in is not going to be better than him. Like, what are the likelihoods that they're going to get another guy? They're going to tear down the system. They're going to bring the guy up. He's drafted, again, a guy who's going to win the Cy Young. He drafted that guy. A guy who's going to get MVP votes in Ben Rice. He drafted one of the greatest players to ever play the game in Aaron Judge. Like, he got all those guys. He signed Garrett Cole, who's won a Cy Young with you. He got Max Fried, who was, I believe, either a 19 or 20 game winner for them last year, even though he's hurt this year, right? He's done a great job, objectively. And I just don't see, I really don't think he's going to get fired. I think they would have to have missed the playoffs completely, which I'm looking at the American League. That's not happening. Or get smacked in the wild card round. I don't see anything that's actually going to happen that's going to push that's going to push Hal Steinbrenner to go, you know what? I'm off this. And you know why I also think that? Because Hal knows they're not talking about me. They're talking about him. And if I fire him, they're going to have to start talking about me. And I really don't want that. So you, buddy, are going to stay here as long as we winning, you good. Because they're not talking about me at all. All right, we're going to take a real quick break, come back, and then we're going to be talking about the National League and the things that are going on over there. All right, quick break. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're back. Lane Riordan is still here with me. Talk about the National League, aka the Dodgers League to lose.
I thought you were just going to nickname it the Dodgers League.
I mean, at this point, it's the Dodgers League for real. But before we talk about the Dodgers, I want to talk about the team that you hate the most, and that's the Brewers.
Yeah, fuck the Brewers.
Yep, there it is. Always need that energy. The Brewers, who are leading the Central in wins, they're 7 games up on the Cubs, looking like they might have that as a lock. They're only 2 games back of the Dodgers, 1 game back in the loss column. So we could have a situation again where the Brewers have the best record in the league. Jacob Mezoraki is pretty sure going to win the NL Cy Young, which is nuts when we talk about the Phillies, because the Phillies just keep getting blocked. My friend has a thing about this, who's a Phillies fan. It's like all of their pitchers keep getting blocked by some other like crazy outlier season. Zach Wheeler last year, Zach Wheeler got hurt, but Skeens had some crazy outlier season. Now you're having Christopher Sanchez for them is going to get blocked out by Maserati, who's going to win the Cy Young. Injuries aside. But the Brew Crew, kind of like with the Rangers, know how to develop pitching. Harrison, that they got from the Red Sox. God, the Red Sox are not good. This guy picked them to make the World Series. Good job. Has been awesome for them. Their lineup has been really good, really solid 1 through 9. And they just know how to win and get into the postseason. The question has been the same question for the Brewers since ever. Is this finally going to be their time to get over the hump? Can they actually get to the World Series and potentially win the World Series? As much as you want to take your hater hat off, place to the side, how do you feel about the Brew Crew this year, their chances to get to and win the World Series? Also, sorry, before you go ahead, Brewers, 4th best odds to win the World Series at plus 1,000 behind the Mariners, Yankees, and Dodgers.
They have the best pitching staff in baseball. So it's just been consistently the case of probably the last 5 years that you could argue that the Brewers, maybe them and the Rays, as we mentioned earlier, are the 2 best pitching factories in baseball. Mizorowski, is that how we say it? Jacob? That guy?
Jacob. I think we got it right.
Jacob.
His name ain't that crazy.
Yeah.
His name's not a slur. It's Maserati.
Yeah, it's just Polish. Yeah.
It's very Polish.
Yeah. He's unbelievable. He's watching him pitch is like watching, it's like watching an animal or a robot throw the ball.
He reminds me, sorry, again, Mets talk.
Yeah.
He reminds me so much of DeGrom. I don't know if it's the fact that he's like super skinny also, but like just dotting 105 on the black like it's nothing.
Always. But they have the best team ERA in baseball. So that's the reason why they can win, They're going to be a great pitching team no matter what. They've also have they have like a history of winning. So like I would expect them to continue. They're used to being in the driver's seat. So like I don't expect that to go away. I don't know. They're probably going to win the Central, barring like an absolute collapse on their part and an explosion again from the Cubs. There's always questions around like their ability to hit home runs. So that will be probably one of the reasons why they don't win. But I think that they're kind of just the same Brewers team we've been seeing for the last like decade, where they're really solid and they're a great regular season team, and they've never been able to put it together in the playoffs. But it only takes one run, and they do have the level that Mizorowski's getting to right now is something that we haven't seen from them before. So it is an extra like ace in up their sleeve. Do you have faith? Is this the time that we see them finally beat the Dodgers in the playoffs?
So I do like their team. My always the thing with me and a team like the Brewers or any of these teams is at the end of the day, I know a lot of times in the playoffs, it's like random guys that get you really to the World Series, right? You can see through the history of baseball, the guy who wins World Series MVP typically is like some dude. Not all the time, it's not always the case, but it's like, George Springer last year, who was not the player that he was when he was with the Houston Astros, was killing it in the postseason last season, right? Like sometimes it's just like either guys who might be too old or guys you never heard of are carrying you. But they don't have like a guy that I used to fear, right? Christian Yelich used to be that guy, but he's not that player anymore. And to me, I'm always just nervous about, how I say this a lot of times in sports. Sports is a lot of, you're not rooting for players, you're rooting for laundry, you know? But I do think that laundry means a lot for even people on the field. And I just feel like last year, I felt like the Brewers were shook. When they played the Dodgers, they didn't look like they lost in the field. I mean, Ohtani had one of the greatest games ever against them. Ever. Okay. And I just get nervous when the lights get bright with this team that they're just going to fall apart. Something's going to happen to them. And when you don't feel like you have that guy that's just like, all right, I'm here. We're getting a hit. I'm getting on base. I'm doing something to stop you. And you can have great pitching. But again, the reason why I feel different about them than I do the Rays is because I still feel like they have at least enough players in their lineup who's like, I don't care. I'm out here balling. Okay. And live for the moment. That's why I love Caminero, right? I liked him on the WBC because those were pressure games and he rose to the occasion. I feel like he'll rise to the occasion when the World Series comes. Am I trusting Wilson Contreras like to rise to the occasion? Christian Yelich, what he used to be? Like maybe, but again, with them and the team that you have to give a mea culpa on, the Phillies, I just see that that they can get picked off. I really do. So while I think this regular season stuff is great, though they might have a chance to win 100 games. I'm still very skeptical of them come October if they're actually gonna be able to put this together.
Totally.
Sure. Yes.
There's
Go ahead. Sorry.
there is the Churio piece because he was injured earlier and he came back in early May, and he's been getting back into it. So it's like, that's their guy.
He has some great postseason numbers too. So let me give him some credit as well.
So that's the argument against, where it's like that he's the one that's going to have to be their dude. He's going to be the one that has to step up. It will be a great question to get to ask come postseason time if he's actually ready, if he's finally going to drag this team. But you're right. He's played well in the playoffs and he's not been supported down the lineup. They're a tricky ball club. They just keep winning, and there's something to that.
All right. You want your 5 minutes on the Cubs?
Yeah, I don't even know if we need 5 minutes, but man, what the fuck is this season? Are you kidding me? So, first team in baseball to do the 210 game win streaks and a 10-game losing streak in the first 50 games since like 1930, which is just one of those like hilarious baseball stats that like is like you're just selecting most piecemealed, hand-picked different types of stats to get it sound like it's never happened before. But that is crazy. 2 10-game win streaks and then just shitting the bed for a month straight. There's tons of different reasons why the Cubs have been like electric and also terrible. Their pitching staff has been like somebody called in a personal strike, probably somebody on the Brewers, to just obliterate the pitching staff on this Cubs team. We can't stay healthy at all at any level, basically. Every time a pitcher starts playing well, he's either injured or he just completely loses his juice. We saw not Shohei. Whew, that would be nice. Shota start off the year with looking like the NL Cy Young year, and then just very slowly through that losing streak, lose a lot of his ability. His problems are always going to be giving up home runs, and he's already up 20 before the break, which is not great. But his whip is good. He's keeping the average down, so he has a chance to continue this into a really positive season. His ERA is like above 4. They've just got nobody that you can really trust. They're throwing Ray out there. They're throwing Ben Brown, who is like maybe the hottest touchstone in Cubs fandom Reddit online communication, because nobody trusts him, but also he's been electric at certain times, so you have to trust him a little bit. I don't know. The pitching is where this team is going to fall apart. They're not a playoff pitching team, so they either have to go out and get a guy.
Though.
They're probably going to make the playoffs because their hitting
as of right now, they are the number 1 wild card. Now it's only by a game. They are up 1 game on the Phillies, and somehow in the Lord above, the Miami Marlins are above the Mets in the standings. The Cubs have 41 wins as of the recording of this. The Phillies and the Marlins both have 42 wins. I mean, losses on the season.
Yeah. I mean, if the Cubs continue hitting at the high rate that they have been in the last month, then they can easily make the playoffs. They can also easily miss the playoffs. If this PCA stretch cools down, if Swanson, stops hitting home runs, like if Ian Happ stops seeing the ball really well, I mean, I guess his strikeout rate's pretty high, but he's good at walks. So I don't know. There's plenty of reasons why this team can fall apart, and they're not a team that inspires trust. As somebody who watches too many Cubs games, they are super fun when they're playing well. I mean, I think not just biasedly, PCA is a bona fide superstar, and watching the best defensive player in the league hit 20 home runs and steal 23 bases before the All-Star break. What a cool story. When have we had that? And his...
Yeah, you had Javi Baez, and what happened?
I guess we had Javi Baez, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, you got to descend to the beautiful
AL
starter
on the AL team last year, Javi Baez.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have faith.
Well, question: would you want them to then go and try and get Terry School then? Because you already talked about the pitching staff. Now this guy is probably going to leave, I would assume, if the Cubs even try and trade for him. But is that a guy that you go, we want to bring him to Chi-Town in order to make a run in the postseason?
I think, you gave my heart flutters just there, imagining Scooble on the back of a Cubs jersey. Even if it's a rental, man, I'm for it. This pitching staff needs so much help, but having an actual ace that isn't injured, it could be the thing that brings them to becoming an actual postseason team. I also think that with the level of starter on the actual contenders, especially in the NL, if you don't have a top 5 pitcher, you're going to lose 2 of the games, because if you're going up against the Dodgers, you're going to get, 2 6-inning performances from Shohei. Or if you're going up against the Brewers, you're going to get 2 6-inning games from Mizorowski. So it's you need somebody that can fight those guys. And Shota, as much as I love the guy, it's not him.
Okay. Well, I still think the Cubbies are going to have a chance to get in.
They have a chance. They have 100% of a chance.
I'm pretty confident they're getting in. It's just about what can you do once you get in, because it's all about getting in, and then after you get in, it's really changes the whole game.
I got my Wrigley shirt on. We're repping.
See,
we're always repping.
Always still repping. Never home, but always repping. Yes. All right. This segment that we're about to do right now is called. Sorry, let me pull it up. Who Looked Dumber? Presented by no one because we have no sponsors yet, but hopefully we will get a sponsor coming in. Either was Lane dumber for not believing in the Philadelphia Phillies and saying, quote, they're going to fall on their ass, or was it me, the host of this pod, saying that he actually believed in the New York Mets? God, that was bad. I'll make my case about who looked dumber, and I'm going to start with me because here we are. Let me go ahead and look. The Mets, scrolling all the way down, have 54 losses. They have 3 less losses than the Colorado Rockies. They have 3 less losses than the Los Angeles Angels, who no one knows where they play. I don't know what was the worst part of the season. The 12-game losing streak. Clay Holmes breaking his leg on a comebacker against the Yankees that I saw in person. The drop ball on national television that was called the double. Another report of Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor still hating each other. The manager got fired. They let Pete Alonso go in the offseason, and they tried to tell me that Mark Vientos was a good first baseman. And the only reason Mark Vientos is the first baseman because the guy they signed, and Jorge Polanco, who never played first base, still isn't playing. I hate them so much. So much. They were so bad. David Peterson pitched in a game against the Cubs, got his ass kicked. And the next day, they traded him to the Cubs. They literally said, get your shit and go across the dugout. That's how dog shit they were. Okay? Kodai Senga, I've never seen this. I've never seen a guy look like the Cy Young winner. He doesn't look like he can pitch. He has a 10 ERA. 10. This guy was supposed to be one of the best pitchers in the league. Pete Alonso got this guy hurt, and he's been cooked ever since. And then David Stearns let go of everyone that people loved, looked us in the face and said, run prevention. And they have check notes. The 3rd worst run differential in the league. Oh, God, they suck. Like, they're just so bad. I love Juan Soto. I love Juan Soto so much. I think there's a legitimate case that he could actually win an MVP one year, not this year, but during his stretch as the Mets. Okay. I'm just going to read off some of his stats just because he's been that good. Juan Soto on the Mets this season, he has the 2nd best on base percentage in the National League at .410. He has a .297 batting average, which is pretty good. He's 2nd in the NL in OPS. He's just under 1,000 OPS. Mind you, this guy missed a month, or he missed like 2 weeks of the baseball season. He gets 21 home runs. He's 5th in the NL in home runs. He has 50 RBIs, and his cleanup hitter is Bo Bichette, who's sucked like the whole year. Just sucked. Someone made this point. I was listening to New York radio. I think this is about 2 weeks ago when they were talking about this. Typically, when a free agent comes, especially to a big market team on a big contract, the biggest thing is always, he failed them. As a Mets fan, I remember buying a Jason Bay jersey, and he was ass. Like I've seen the overhyped free agent come in, and you're stuck with him for 6, 7, 8 years. This is the complete opposite. This guy was 3rd in MVP last year, and he should finish 2nd this year. He's been that good. And the team just fucking sucks. And I don't really know what to do with that, right? Yankee fans talk about their GM sucks. My GM actually sucks. He actually isn't good. And I don't really know, should they fire him? Do you keep him? They're talking about trading Lindor. No one's going to want that contract. As someone who loves Francisco Lindor. But the day I saw it break for me was when they got swept by your Cubs. Dansby Swanson's still getting an RBI. He's still running the bases. Just running around.
Was it the 6-error game, or what was that the one that got you?
Oh my God, I deleted that from my brain. Oh, that happened too. Oh, the 6-error game. How was that even possible? Or again, I love Juan Soto. They gave up a little league home run like 2 days later after they fired the manager. Oh my God, they fucking suck. Like, I just can't believe it. And this is why I say you need balance. This team has made it so much bearable for me to enjoy the year that I fundamentally don't care. Like, I know it sucks. I don't care anymore. But it's not, Lane, you think your team is bad. It's 3 more months of this, man. It's 3 more months of just being ass. Like, there's one thing to be like 500. It's like, okay, we're 500-ish. We can, make the playoffs. You still get to watch baseball that matters. My season ended 2 weeks ago. Like, it's over. And I just have to go and watch garbage. And I just that's it, man. I'm just done. I don't have anything left. It's not even like it's one of those things where your parent is just, they say you're disappointed in you because they just ain't got it left in them, man. I don't have it left in me for this team. So
correct me if I'm wrong. You got, did you get a season ticket package this year?
I have a season ticket package. I'm about to go. By the time this posts next Friday, I won't be at the game. But the Friday after that, I'm going to go see I'm going to go see Mets Dodgers. And I only got that to see Ohtani. That's the only reason I'm going. There's going to be
so how many games have you gone to?
You know what's insane? I've been to like 6 games.
Yeah.
And they've won like 5 of them. No, they've won 4. Because they beat Detroit. They lost the Yankees. They lost to the Athletics. But they beat Detroit. They beat the Reds. They beat who else did I go to see? They didn't beat the Cubs. They beat like 2 other teams this year. But I've been to a couple of games. But like, literally, there was a game. I forgot who even they were playing, and I didn't have the energy to sell the tickets, man. I was like, I'm just not going. Like, what am I doing with this? It's like, I don't have the energy to even watch this, And like, from where I live, I might have said this on the pod already. It's like, it's not the easiest for me to get to Citi Field. Like, people who listen to this pod who aren't from New York, like, getting from Brooklyn, there's no real way to get from Brooklyn to Queens without going through Manhattan. Like, you have to kind of go through Manhattan. And where the Mets play, they play really deep in Queens. They play in Flushing. For perspective, there's a train that goes there. There's only one train that goes there versus the 3 trains that go to Yankee Stadium. The one train that goes there, the Mets Citi Field, is essentially the last stop. So you got to go. If you are taking that train, you're essentially taking that train to go see the Mets play. And doing all of that for a team that's not very good isn't the best, man. So it's been a rough season for me over here. But I love Juan Soto. I'm going to see as many times I want to see Juan Soto play, I'll watch Juan Soto play, but he's the only thing that has me any excited for this team.
There's no way he wins an MVP, right? This year? Like, there's nothing he can do?
No. I think that I think he will win one. Just because I think, like, unfortunately, I'm not wishing this on him. I think there'll be a year that Shohei won't play. That's what's happened with Judge this year.
Yeah.
And Soto's significantly younger than Ohtani. Ohtani, I believe, is 31, and Soto is 26 or 27. So just like, You know,
Yeah.
like again, Caminero might win a year. We haven't got a chance to talk to him about him, but Riordan Alvarez might win the AL this year. Like I was getting to, I think we're gonna have two guys. Maybe the Houston does better and they do like turn around and make the playoffs. But I think we're gonna have two guys finishing the top two in MVP who are gonna have under 500 teams. I mean, the last guy I remember winning one with his team wasn't good was Harper when he was on the Nationals. But I don't remember the last time a guy won an MVP and their team was this bad. So
I mean, there was like the A-Rod years when he was on
but those
Texas.
were so but that was
20,
so long ago.
24 years ago. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So like, I don't think he'll win it this year. I think that this is Ohtani's award, but I think at some point Ohtani will either be ineffective, hurt, something will happen to him. Not wishing it, I just think it's just gonna happen. And one of those years, that'll be the open spot for, a Soto or maybe another younger player to steal an MVP away. Yeah.
Ohtani grabbed one on the Angels when they missed the playoffs as well.
Yes.
So
exactly.
I guess that's the most recent example. And it's still the fucking dude that we're talking about. So.
Exactly, right? It's like you have to have such a outstanding season. And again, like Soto's this is one of the best offensive seasons a Met has ever had. He's going to hit. I mean, me and my friend did the math. Like, he's going to break Alonso's record pretty soon. I mean, if he keeps having 40 home run seasons, the Alonso, I believe, is at I think he was at 253. I'm going to double check right now. Alonso he's at 264 all time.
Catchable.
Exactly. And again, we were talking about a guy who had 42 last year. He has 21 now. So we're talking about a guy who has 63. Just do the math. Like, essentially, he needs to hit 200 more. Like, that's not if he hits 40 for 5 seasons, that's not the craziest thing in the world that he's going to catch him, before we get to like 2035.
Super. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I was pretty bad on the Mets. You don't have to go that hard on your Phillies take, but yeah.
I might have been worse though, because
no. That was not worse. There was nothing worse than me on the Mets. I actually thought they had a chance to actually beat the Dodgers.
I know, but the Mets, there's also the fan in you that's responding to that, like
No, it's not. But here's the thing: it's not just fandom. Like, yes, it is fandom, but like, I legitimately thought the team was good. It was like, take my fandom out of it. It was Soto, Lindor, Bo Bichette. Now, no one could have told you that Lindor was going to miss half the year, right? Like, that was an unforeseen thing, right? The bottom of the lineup was what killed them. It was the Vientos. It was the Brett Beatty, who's not an MLB player. It was Alvarez getting hurt again. I literally was at the game he got hurt. He got hurt on a swing. He literally just swing the bat, tore meniscus. It's like, how? Like, it is I was wrong as far as fan, but I was way more wrong. The part that I care more about is actually watching the game. I was way more wrong about that one.
Okay, well then let me eat some crow with this Phillies team, because I was burying them, especially their old guys, Schwarber and Harper. I was ready. I was just digging their fucking graves for them, putting them in 6 feet deep. Couldn't have been more wrong. Obviously they're on a sort of historically significant run, going from like 10 games under to 10 games over by the All-Star break. It's happened like a couple of times ever. Obviously they switched them. Yep. They switched their manager out. Don Mattingly arrives. They've gone like, it's really good, but they haven't lost 20 games under him, so they've won about 40 with him, which is a pretty ridiculous stat to take over and immediately like get your boys cooking that hard. Zach Wheeler,
when your son's the GM, so
literally, Zach Wheeler is obviously maybe the biggest reason for this. He's incredible in his games back, and they also have Christopher Sanchez. So the combination of the two, like, really makes them feel like a real like 1-2 punch as far as like playoff bullpens go. And
Chris
then
Sanchez,
Schwarber's hit.
18 games start. He's 10-3 with an ERA of 2.
Yeah, right. Pretty crazy. And Schwarber's leading the league in home runs, so he's doing what he did again last year. And him and Harper both have like near 900 OPS. So I was just like so off because I thought I had no faith in any of their guys. I feel like I remember specifically bashing Bryson Stott, maybe in like almost like a personal way. Which, like my bad guys, he's actually been pretty good. I don't know. It felt like such a baseball is, as we've talked about so many times, it's vibes. Baseball is vibes. They changed the vibes and their players got back on track. I just didn't expect Don Mattingly to be the vibes guy. I don't know why. But I didn't.
Yeah. And I'll take it a step further, Lane. I think they're coming out the NL.
Okay.
I'm really serious. Okay, so what did we talk about this whole pod? You need dudes.
Yeah.
They have dudes. They have Harper. They have Schwarber. They've had guys who have not only been great players in the regular season, but in the postseason as well. They have a nice 1-2 punch in Wheeler and in Sanchez. Also, trust me, I hate the Phillies. I'm not saying this to warm me, okay? But I feel like this is a team that has been knocking on the door year after year after year. And I feel like these guys, unlike the Brewers, are not afraid of the Dodgers. All right. I know they lost to the Dodgers in probably one of the most gut-wrenching ways you can lose a series to a team. But I do think there comes a point where it's like, this is our time. I get some Knicks vibes from them where they have been chugging along. They've made a change, right, at coaching staff. It's really worked for them. And I think it's coming together for them. If they can keep Wheeler healthy and Sanchez healthy, Duran is still their closer, one of the best closers in baseball. I do think that this is the year that they are going to get to the World Series. Also, just because I just think it's really hard to go to 3 straight World Series, and I'm just more or less taking the Fields over the Dodgers, and I think the Phillies are the team that I think will go there and be able to beat them.
It's a good take. I mean, it's using literally everything we've talked about. I think that it stands the test of what we have specifically been breaking down 100%. I think the argument against this, which is the really easy argument to be made, is that this team is really old and it is a lot more likely they're going to break down because of it. Like that's just baseball. Old teams have a hard time staying healthy through 160 season plus playoffs. I'm not wishing that on them. I hope I'm wrong. Like it's more fun when this core, which has been around for, it feels like forever now, is an actual team in the playoffs. So we'll see where it goes.
They went to the World Series 4 years ago now in 2022.
Yeah,
that was the year they lost to the Astros. Man, I think I agree. I think it's their time. But yeah, man, that's all the show that we have today. Thank you guys again for listening. Lane, please plug what do you have for the people. Where can they find you? Where can they read you at? One of the best writers in the country, Lane Riordan.
You can read me at lanerearden at substack.com. I've got a piece dropping this weekend about, interestingly and humorously enough, I'm doing a podcast listening detox because I feel like I've been unable to have my own thoughts. I've just cooked my brain a little. So catch me there.
Nice. For all you other cooked brain people, keep listening to the Men Who Cry podcast. Again, subscribe,
that's the one exception. That's the one exception.
Please subscribe, review, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. If you not do these things, I have to believe that you actually thought that when Donnie Trump got involved, that the United States was actually going to win the World Cup. That's on y'all. The MAGA touch never fails. Thank you guys again for listening. See you guys later.